Right now, somewhere in your house, there is something you started and never finished. Maybe it is a book you put down after chapter 3. Maybe it is a workout plan you crushed for 6 days and then completely forgot about. Or maybe it is a dream so big you started planning it, got scared, and quietly put it in a drawer. Here's the part that surprises most people. This is not a you problem, this is a brain problem, and your brain has been doing this to you on purpose. Back in 1927, a young psychology student named Bluma Zeigarnik was sitting in a busy restaurant in Vienna, Austria. She noticed something strange about the waiters. They could remember every single order from every single table without writing anything down. But the moment the food was delivered and the order was complete, they forgot everything instantly. Bluma took that little observation and turned it into one of the most famous discoveries in the history of psychology. She found that our brains hold on to unfinished things like a dog holds on to a chew toy. They'd grip it, keep it active, keep it running in the background like an app you forgot to close on your phone. We call this the Zeigarnik Effect, named after Bluma herself. And here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain does not just remember unfinished things better than finished ones, it actually uses unfinished things as an alarm clock that never turns off. That nagging feeling you get at 2 in the morning thinking about something you forgot to do, that is the Zeigarnik effect tapping you on the shoulder. But here's the twist nobody tells you about. Starting something new gives your brain a chemical called dopamine, which is basically the brain's version of a gold star sticker. Your brain absolutely loves that feeling, and it will do almost anything to get more of it. So every time you get excited about a new idea, that's not ambition talking, that's your brain chasing another hit of its favorite chemical. And the cruel part is that the middle of any project, the hard, boring, grinding part, produces almost no dopamine at all. Researchers call this the motivational dip, and it happens to almost every human being on the planet. Studies show that most people abandon their goals within the first 2 weeks of starting them, not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because their brain was never designed to find the middle of things rewarding. Think about it this way. Ancient humans needed to get excited about new things to survive, because new things meant new food, new shelter, new safety. Your brain is still running that same ancient software, just in a world full of guitar lessons and half-read self-help books. There's also something called the planning fallacy, which means we are all terrible at guessing how long things actually take. Research by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky showed that people consistently underestimate the time, energy, and effort a project actually needs. So we start things with a completely imaginary version of how hard they will be. And when reality shows up and the project gets hard, we feel like something must be wrong with us. But nothing is wrong with you. The project is just being a project. Now here's the part that actually helps. Scientists discovered that the same Zeigarnik effect that keeps nagging you about unfinished things can actually be used as a superpower. If you start a task and then take a small intentional break, your brain keeps working on it in the background even when you walk away. This is why your best ideas sometimes come to you in the shower. Your brain never actually stopped working on the problem. The second tool that actually works is something researchers call implementation intentions, which is just a fancy way of saying tell yourself exactly when and where you will do the thing. A study published in the British Journal of Health Psychology found that people who wrote down exactly when and where they would exercise were 2 to 3 times more likely to actually do it. Not because writing it down is magic, but because a specific plan removes the moment of decision, and it is the moment of decision that kills most projects. The third and most powerful tool is something so simple it almost feels like cheating. Make the task so small that it's almost impossible to say no to. B.J. Fogg, a behavior scientist at Stanford University, spent decades studying how humans actually change, and what he found was that tiny habits beat willpower every single time. 2 minutes of work on something is not too little. 2 minutes of work is the door that opens into an hour of work, because starting is the hardest part, and your brain just needs a little trick to walk through that door. So, the surprising truth about why you never finish what you start is not that you're undisciplined or unmotivated or broken. It's that you've been fighting against a brain that was wired before Netflix existed, before to-do lists existed, before there were a million exciting things competing for your attention every single second. The game was never fair. But now that you know the rules of the game, you can finally start playing it differently. Pick one thing you've been putting off. Give it 2 minutes today. Write down when and where you will do it, and let your brain do the rest. Because the person who finishes things is not born different from you. They just learned a few things about how their brain works and decided to use that knowledge instead of fighting it. Drop a comment below and tell me the one thing you're going to finish this week. And if this video helped even one thing click for you today, share it with someone who has a drawer full of unfinished dreams. Until next time, keep going, even when the middle gets messy.